From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy. The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, it's the mailbag, so we're going to be generating discussion sparked by Cummins, courtesy of one of our own. Some really bonkers stuff from the Monday press conference leads us in today's show. Is Florida State a Tier 1 job? And what to do with Tommy Castellanos. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com works faster and longer, and you can buy one and get one free because you listen to this show and you use the promo code warchantbogo. Noles at the controls of Vitamin Energy hooking it up. warchantbogo, buy one, get one free over at VitaminEnergy.com. Synergistically formulated to give you all the energy you need to get through your day. Even those Mondays that we just survived, it was a wild one. And those body-nourishing vitamins to help your focus and your mood. VitaminEnergy.com. Again, promo code warchantbogo, Warchant, B-O-G-O. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source. Come home for $1 for a week and then get a year subscription to The Athletic. But you're not going to want to just stay for 1 week. You're going to be like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing this on the message boards. I need to hear about this from Ira Schofel. I need to read this from Corey Clark. Gene Williams dropping intel on a potential coaching search. Yeah, man, that's how it works. Warchant.com. Come check us out. It's only $1. Corey Clark in the house. He's a large part of why we drive subscribers. That's why we do numbers, everybody. C-Dog. What's up, Corey? How are you, my friend?
What's up, Aslan? You doing all right? Had a good Monday?
I guess. The
Interesting.
Morning,
It was interesting, right?
It was. So interesting that we start off today's show, the mailbag, and we kind of jump right into our generating discussion sparked by Cummins segment, Corey. We've got a different one this week, and before you generate power for us, we have an audio submission for our question of the week. Stand by as we play that for our folks at home.
I know you take it day to day, week to week, game to game. Fans don't. What do you think the trajectory is for this program heading into 2026?
Corey Clark, you're the winner. Congratulations, everybody. Corey Clark, the winner of Generating Discussion sparked by Cummins.
Put me in the drawing, man. I want a generator.
Yeah. This answer will be obviously what we're discussing on the large part of the show day. So that's why I want to kind of get to it. But we do have an actual winner. We're going to give it to Mike Norvell, apologist, who's he's been around since 2019, Corey. He's only posted 4 times. This is the 4th time he's ever posted. And it was in response to Mike's response to your question. And that is, why is Mike talking about winning championships and hoisting trophies? Has he been told he's going to be here doing that? Holy cow. And with that said, now let's return back to the exchange, Corey. It was about 2 minutes worth. And I know that's a little bit longer than we like to play on a podcast, but I think everyone.
No way that answer was only 2 minutes long.
I apologize. It was like 8 minutes. I've shortened it down to 2 minutes.
Okay. All right.
But so the context is all still there. And I still think this is a fair setup and a fair depiction of what he said. Before we do that, though, Corey, you want to actually give us some power?
Oh, my ex-wife Shanna told me that I have to stop making the sounds when I'm doing pulling the chain back. She said it's really off-putting to people that are just listening to podcasts. It sounds gross. Okay. So I will just do the motion, but I won't. The grunt, I guess I got to stay away from the grunt. She said it's pretty gross. I don't know why she'd say that. Hey, it was good enough for her for 15 years, 18 years, whatever. It was a great run, Shanna. Great run. We got a kid out of it. A decent enough kid. So God bless us all. So here we go. And then I'll push the button. There we go. Sorry.
It's Generating Discussion. It is sparked by Cummins. Give them a follow over on Instagram. Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word. It's an Instagram page. It's generators. How does this all work, Aslan? Well, it gives you some inspiration. It shows you what you can do out in the great outdoors, and your RV has a Cummins own and generator in it. It's reliable. It's quiet. It's the world's best-selling installed generator in an RV for a reason. Check that out. Also, the portable generators, which will go to the end-of-year grand prize winner for our Generating Discussion franchise here on the show. All right. This was Monday in 2 minutes, pretty much, everybody. Buckle up.
I know you take it day to day, week to week, game to game. Fans don't. What do you think the trajectory is for this program heading into 2026?
I've got an elite level confidence for what's ahead for this program, and I believe in it. We've won championships here. We've done that. And to be a part of a staff that fixed it. From when we first got in here to achieve at an elite level that is as one of the best times that this program has seen through a stretch of 19 straight games. I mean, it was, and you can find all the reasons. Well, this was closer. That's good, but we still got we did it. We lifted a trophy and we were able to have success. 24 was an absolute it was a complete failure. We lived it. We did it. We made changes. And, as this year, I think we are improved. I mean, when you look on both sides of the ball, I think we have taken positive steps. But there's been some transitional elements of it that, we've got to, we needed to be better. And I say that it's, we've shown the capabilities on both sides. I mean, we played as good as anybody in the United States of America at points of this year, and we played as bad as probably anybody at times this year. I've got elite expectations, and we're going to win a championship here in the very near future. Everywhere I've been, I've won a championship. Like I was say, the 1 year at Pitt, we did not. But everywhere else, right, I've been as a player and as a coach. I know what it looks like, and I've actually done it. Right, and that's why when I can sit there and say that with confidence, we are going to get this back. Fixed it once, we're going to fix it again. I'm fully aware the outside narrative around our team is not good. Around me is probably not good. That's fine. That will not affect the job that I'm going to show up and do. Right, the job I'm going to show up and do is I'm going to pour everything I have into this team with a championship expectation. Right, for us to go grow and be better. And why I can say that because I've actually won a championship. I've done that, and we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it here, right? And people that might piss people off, so be it, right? They'll be celebrating when we're hoisting a trophy.
Corey, take it away, brother. That was a lot, and it was a part of a column that you wrote on Monday.
Yeah. Look, he didn't go full Dabo. Guess you guys are tired of winning. Guess I'll have to go hoist the trophy somewhere else. He didn't do that, and. Look, man, there are elements of truth in what he's saying. They are better. They are improved. You can't deny that. But, he described it as a complete failure in 2024. And it's like, okay, so you've improved on a complete failure. I wouldn't say this season is a failure yet, but give me one or two more losses and you absolutely call it a failure. And there's no reason to think this team is going to go win on the road because it doesn't. It might, but it hasn't yet. So, I was just – the thing that struck me about it was he's really putting himself out there to a large degree. And you wouldn't think someone that is 20% sure, 40% sure, 5% sure, or even 50% sure that they're going to be the head coach next year would put themselves out there to that degree.
Yeah.
Because it could blow up on Sunday morning. It could be like if they lose to Virginia Tech, if he's fired, it's like, well, you just said you were going to win a championship here. So I kind of respect it, man. Like just go all out, go all in with what you're doing and saying, yeah, I'm going to win a championship here. I don't think the people listening to this or watching this right now, I think the vast majority of people listening to my voice right now don't think he'll even be here next year to hoist any trophies. But don't you think Mike Norvell thinks he's going to be here? Otherwise, that was a bizarre answer, and he's not a bizarre guy, and he's not unhinged at all. He's level-headed. He was joking around with us before the press conference. Like, he's in his right mind. So I think as we sit here in, almost the middle of November, heading into Virginia Tech week, I think Mike Norvell thinks if he wins the next three games, or two of the next three, or none of the next three, well, that's probably not true. But if he wins a few of these games coming up, he's going to get a chance to hoist some trophies at Florida State next year. Right? And how can you read it any other way? Yeah, no, he certainly hasn't been told, hey, man, you got 3 games left. Enjoy it.
Well, that's what I look as the problem is that, like, there is – you don't say that unless you have some kind of assurance that, like, yeah, we're riding with you. You're still our coach. But at the same time, and like, I listened to some of Jeff's show on Monday before we hopped on and did this. what else is he supposed to say? But like, man, you don't have to go that
Not
far.
Not that.
So
no, that's what. Look, coaches have always talked confidently. He's been talking confidently now for 18 months, saying he's going to fix it. He knows how to fix it. Taggart did the same thing. I'm sure Jimbo did in 17 too. They talk confidently. This was above and beyond that. This was, he knows he's on the hot seat. He knows he's in the crosshairs, and he knows that most people think and want him fired. So for him to be like in this moment with 3 games left in the season saying we're going to be hoisting championships here soon, you just wouldn't set yourself up to look like a buffoon. If you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he would just do that willy-nilly, like just pie in the sky. I'm going to say it. There's no reality to it at all. Again, I don't think he has been there's no way, in my opinion, the administration has told Mike Norvell he's coming back next year. I also don't think there's any way they've told him he's not coming back. You know what I mean? So right now he thinks it's still in the balance, and he thinks if they do well enough in these next 3 games, which they honestly, should win at least 2 of them. We'll see though, should and would and could. I think he thinks he'll get a chance to coach here in 2026, and he does like the progress they're making, which they are making progress. It's glacial. It's not Signetti. It's glacial progress, but they are making progress from where they were last year. And he thinks that maybe next year at this time, they'll be really good and fighting for a championship with him here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a 6 to 8 minute exchange, and not really exchange. It's a question and an answer.
Yeah. I said, I think 17 words. He said 1,200. I know that because I transcribed it. Or actually, Aslan meant to thank you. You sent me the transcription. Most of it was right. I had to go back and change a few things. It's a great time to be alive where they can transcribe 8-minute answers and you can just throw it on a page. But I said 17 words. His counted out around 1,200 or so.
This felt to me a lot, though. This was almost like, has he not spoke to Mike Alford in a few weeks? And this was almost his, him coaching himself up, like almost his dress rehearsal for when he has to walk into that office at the end of November after the game in Gainesville and talk about the future if it hasn't already been decided by then. Because the way he talked about, we're better, like we're improved, like, 2024 is a failure. We lived it. We did it. We made our changes. We are a better team. And listen, we don't dispute that fact. Like we've talked about it. It's made a couple of people upset that, we do point out the fact that they are greatly improved. But again, it's coming off. To me, this so much to me felt almost, I don't want to say performative, but this felt like, man, this is a platform that not only quiets some maybe outside noise, but you talk so many times about when these coaches and these players speak to us in the media, they're actually speaking to the fans. This felt almost like we were a conduit to the administration.
Yes. 100%, because he said that might piss people off when he's talking about hoisting championships and winning here again. And he goes, I don't care. When he's saying I don't care, he's talking to the fans that want him fired, and he's like, they'll be celebrating when we're hoisting another trophy, which is like, all right, Mike, you were all in, which again, turn heel at this point, like be NWO or something, like we're all black, like the wrestling crew from the early 90s, like not the rap, weren't they NWO?
Yeah, NWO, man.
The rap, not the rap group. I know that was NWA, but the wrestling was NWO.
Correct. New World Order. That's right. Then they
had
the
World Order. Everybody knows that.
Wolf Pack. The Wolf Pack was red. Scott Hall, Scott Nash. They broke off, but that's neither here nor there.
We digress. That was my fault. And NWA had Ice Cube, Eazy-E, and
MC
the
Ren.
others.
MC Ren.
There you go.
Yeah, DJ Yellow.
So you're losing when he's in your crew. That was a part of Ice Cube's diss track. Yeah. Ultimate diss track. Vaseline, no Vaseline is unbelievable, gang. Anyway, we have a complete digression. You don't do what he did lightly, right? I just don't think Norvell did what he did on Monday lightly.
Yeah, but what changes though, Corey?
him.
You talk about you don't want to make yourself look like a buffoon. What changes? I mean, either you call your shot, and if you don't, I don't think this is played on loop for the rest of eternity. Not even after a year, wherever he lands. Maybe when he first gets hired, the fan base is like, "Oh, he said that," but then you're on to that. I don't know how much of it in our ADHD world, how much of this is really going to be retained. But I do get your sort of the spirit of what you're saying. Like, yeah, nobody wants to look like a buffoon.
But also, I don't. I just don't think it's not human nature. It makes no sense. There's no rationality or logic to if you're convinced you're going to be fired in 3 weeks, that you would say what he's saying. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't talk about hoisting championships and everybody. That's fine. Everybody's going to be a fan then. Everybody's going to be celebrating then. I just don't think you go that hard. You don't steer that hard into the storm unless you think that you've got the boat to get through it. I don't think he has the boat to get through it, but we'll see. I think 7-5 is a conversation. I know people don't want to hear that, and I'm convinced Mike Norvell thinks 7-5 means 2026 is a reality. Again, that might not be the reality, but I mean, Michael Alford was at Clemson. He was standing 5 feet away from us when we were interviewing Norvell. Like, he's a part of the program. He's here. He's seen. They talk. I don't know if they get into specifics like, hey, man, you need to win this week or you're going to give me no choice. But I can see that being I can see conversations like that happening. And I just think Norvell has the utmost confidence. And maybe it's false. I shouldn't say he has the utmost confidence because it might be false confidence. But I do think he believes they're a good team that's going to win the next 3 games. I also think there were times last year he thought like his team could play with Miami or beat Florida or go up to Notre Dame and keep it interesting. So sometimes he's delusional. This might be delusion. It could be delusion. He doesn't strike me as a delusional person, though. And I just don't think he would do that off the cuff. I think he thought through that answer. I think he thought he was going to be asked something like that. In fact, me and him had we met for coffee before the press conference, and I went through what I was going to ask, and Mike cut me off. If I seem like I'm stammering a little bit, cut me off, and then you've got the platform for the next 10 minutes, buddy. So I know he knew. Obviously, he knew a question like that was going to come in some form or fashion, and that he thinks they're going to win championships. It's almost like it's not how dare you, right? Like he's not sitting there saying, "How dare you question me?" I just think he has belief in what this staff has done in a short amount of time, the players they brought in, and more importantly, I guess in his mind, because he talked about the future a lot, the players they could potentially bring back. That gives him confidence that 2026 will be a bigger upgrade than 2025 was to 2024. And if that's the truth, then you are looking at a 9 or 10 win season. You also got Notre Dame off the schedule, so that helped. Apparently it was never on the schedule, but whatever. Or it was on the schedule for half a day. But so yeah, man, I thought that was real. I think that's his real feelings. No. Do with that what you will. I don't think that was performative in the sense that he knows he's going to be fired. He just wants to put on a brave face. I think he thinks he's going to be the head coach in 2026.
Kind of fell almost off the same branch as like Jerry Jones' stuff that he says about like this team's going to be able to win a Super Bowl and compete. It's like, but Jerry Jones, he's got some excuses. He's been around the block a few times, you know.
I would say though, Jerry, that is delusional because it's been 30-something years now. Mike Norvell is 2 years ago. It's 2 years ago. Yeah. So there is a difference, right? He's seen it. He's built championships. That there's nothing that that consistently triggers him more. And it doesn't trigger, but there's nothing that evokes more emotion out of him than when he goes to the well and talks about like, I know, I've seen it. I know what it looks like. Which, by the way, if you're wondering at home, he won a division title at Tulsa and a division title at Arizona State. They did not win the conference championship at Tulsa. They did not win the Conference USA title there. They did not win the Pac-12 championship at Arizona State either. Hey, quit parsing his words, Aslan. He said championships everywhere he's been. A division championship is still a championship. So, yeah. Bobby Cox believes in that. Hey, any championship is good. Clemson still got their like 2000. Is it 2013 or 2012 ACC championship asterisk up there, which is crazy because they didn't win it that year. Florida State played in the Orange Bowl. Florida State won the conference, and Florida State beat Clemson, but they got their championship thing up there. And they need to get that. By the way, complete digression. Take that off, Clemson. You've won so many more things since 2012. You need to take that off your board. All right, that's generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Since Corey's an employee of warchant.com, he cannot be the winner. So Mike Norvell, apologist, hops in and gets the dub. So check out Cummins Lifestyle. It's all one word over on Instagram.
Let's get to another question before we take a break. By the way, hopefully you fast-forwarded to this part if you're watching us on YouTube. We typically drop the generating discussion video at midnight on the Mailbag Show, and then we do this later in the day. But anyhow, just subscribe to the podcast. Dalvinism, wake up. What do you make of how the running back room has been managed? Seems like there's been a ton of NIL resources poured into that position, but if you just spun a wheel to determine who's back there every drive, it'd make just about as much sense as their current rotations. Is it concerning to you or not that big of a deal? Gus was asked about it. I think Mike was asked about it too, and obviously it wasn't nearly as impassioned of a response, but it does sound like that's something they're really trying to kind of figure out and get hammered out, which seems crazy in week 12, but here we are, or week 11.
Gus's answer was just gobbledygook nonsense. And not nonsense like he doesn't know what he's talking about. Nonsense in that he's just not going to give us an answer. He's not going to be forthright. So we asked him he was asked about the running back room. I think Chris Nee asked it. And just like Chris Nee asked Norvell, that's Chris Nee's on it, and I'm with him. Like, it doesn't make any sense what's going on in that room. Yeah. Like, Sawchuk's your guy. He's leading the country in touchdowns for 3 weeks. Now he's on the field. I think he played 22 plays against Clemson, had 1 carry. Sam Singleton's been on the field the last 2 weeks for 33 plays total and has 21 carries out of his 33 plays. Cromall was on the field for 9 plays on Saturday night. There is no rhyme or reason. Lucas is in the mix again out of nowhere. Norvell said that Cam Davis might be back in the mix. I did feel like when Norvell talked about it on Monday, he seemed to be more in line of, we need to figure that out. As in, maybe there's even an edict to the guy that works for him, by the way. I know Gus is just the coordinator. He's just running the offense. But Norvell can say, no, you're not playing 5 guys. I want to see what Usmain has. How about we give that our Singleton? Yeah. It makes no sense what they're doing with the running back room. But maybe the Clemson game was an odd one because they felt they couldn't run as much as they would like. Or they were behind by 18, so they couldn't. I don't know. The Virginia Tech game, I think, golly, you got 3 games left. Figure this thing out. Because, there is no rhyme or reason to what they're doing, and neither one of them could explain it very well. Don't you think Cromall is your future? I don't understand if you're trying to sell people on why 2026 could be good and you brought in some young talent. Maybe Cromall should be on the field for more than 9 plays? Just a thought, and he has... I think he was on the field for like 13 plays against Wake. Yeah. He's got 7 carries the last 2 weeks. I thought by this time of the year, Cromall would be having 15 carries a game.
Absolutely.
Especially the way he looked even against Alabama. Yeah. He was on the field more against Alabama than he was against Clemson 2 months later. How's that work?
Yeah, and it's not like he's been on any of these availability injury reports either, so we can't say that his health. And he hasn't done anything terrible. He hasn't done anything sinful on the field to...
He fumbled against Miami, and he's been fine since. I mean, not great, but fine. But he won't... I just feel like he's probably your most talented back. Singleton gives you that burst that you like, but I think Cromall is probably your best back, and he's good out of the backfield. I know he dropped a pass on Saturday night, but the whole team did. He's been pretty good, pretty dependable. I don't understand it, but I wish they would figure it out because, yes, it doesn't make any sense. Why? And Roy Dell got back in the game. That's fine. I don't even know if Roy Dell got a carry. He might have gotten 1 carry. Sawchuk, you're giving money to. He got 1 carry. There is no rhyme or reason. And we've asked. You can go listen to the answers because Norvell and Malzahn were both asked. There was no real specific answers given to what they're doing in that room.
Actually, maybe fumbles are really frowned upon. I mean, I was just looking at his game log. So Keziah has not played since the Pitt game. We haven't even talked about Keziah Holmes in a month,
Yeah, it said he played 1 play against Clemson, but I don't remember the play. Yeah, he can't get on the field. Roy Dell's been hurt. Sawchuk gets on the field but doesn't get the ball. Singleton is only getting the ball when he's on the field. Like when he's on the field, he's going to get it. Yeah. And when they're not going to give him the ball, he's not on the field. It's probably a telltale sign of how you should scout the Florida State offense when 28's out there. And there's no rhyme or reason with Cromall, man. I just can't fathom why this guy that you spent a lot of money on to bring here and has proven to be good. It's not like he's a bust. Right. In my opinion, anyway, I think he's got some real skill to him. Like, give him some at-bats, man. This season is already a wash. You're not accomplishing anything this season. Why not give that guy some real reps against real teams and not Kent State or East Texas, but like real teams and see what you got in that kid because I think you do have something.
The other question of the day that I don't know if we really got anything from, but was Tommy's status. Grumpy BK's in the mailbag, says, wake the hell up, FSU football. Assuming Mike and or Gus stays, should we bring Tommy back next year as our starting quarterback? Now, obviously, the eligibility is a question that he was asked at the end, Mike, and didn't really give us, it just kind of, I guess it's under evaluation or it's going to be discussed. Again, Tommy's technically a redshirt senior. He played in a 5th game when he was at UCF, but it was a conference title game. Back then, that meant that you went over your 4-game limit and you lost your redshirt. But now you can play all your postseason games don't count towards your eligibility. So you can play 4 regular season games. You can play a conference title game. You can play all your playoff games, your bowl games, whatever. Like those don't count. So you would think retroactively they can be like, well, listen, I mean, the Diego Pavia stuff, right? Like he played in JUCO. That doesn't matter anymore, apparently. So why would one bowl game, one conference championship game count against it? But we still don't have a definitive answer on that, but it definitely sounds like the door is open. I mean, he could have brushed it off the way he brushed off the Ricky Knight question if they didn't have any intention of bringing Tommy back. But would you bring Tommy back next year? Somebody also replied to Grumpy in the thread and was basically like, in my opinion, yes. If you're going to run it back, then you got to keep this whole crew together. Your thoughts, Corey? Do you bring Tommy back next year if Gus and or Mike are still here? Yeah.
As opposed to what, right? That's the question. Like, who's out there to go get? You need to figure that out. If Gus is back and Norvell is back, and you can convince some of these.
Lenora Sellers. I think people are saying that Miami might try to go after Lenora Sellers. I don't know if that was a troll comment, but I mean that might be a guy that might be. If Shane Beamer doesn't make it, alive out of Columbia this year.
Oh yeah, maybe or that would be interesting. There are better quarterbacks out there for Florida State than Tommy Castellanos. We can all agree on that. I think he is a good fit for this offense. It just on the road, it's been inexplicable these last two games. But those are the only 2 games, right? I know Miami was horrible for 3 quarters. That's not all on Tommy. Tommy's got limitations. We get it. But in the Gus offense, I just think if Gus is here, what kind of you're not getting a pro prospect at quarterback to come here, a pro prospect quarterback to come here. Why would he? Gus doesn't develop quarterbacks that go play in the league. That's not his job. His job is to move the ball and score points in college, and he's done a good job of that this year, Saturday notwithstanding, and he's done a good job of that in his career. And I think Tommy fits his offense well. But it's more like, what do you want your offense to be? What kind of players do you want to attract? Because I don't know that you're going to get a bunch of receivers that want to come play if Tommy is the quarterback too. Deuce, it's been great for Deuce, and only Deuce. I guess Danzy too. To an extent. But yeah, I would lean, if Gus comes back, I don't know that you can do better than Tommy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't, maybe Lenoris because he runs a little bit too, or somebody of that ilk. Maybe Sperry, but I think Tommy is a pretty darn good fit for this offense, but that offense is going to have limitations. If you get behind, it's going to be trouble. It's not a real, strong passing game. It's not a complex passing game. It just isn't. That's not Gus's strength. Gus has strengths, and they move the ball and score points a lot. Tommy has limitations. I think Gus has limitations. All that being said, I would probably go in a different direction. But that's assuming they're all coming back, which again is a big assumption. Or that Tommy would even want to come back. In the way Norvell talked about it, it's like, well, why haven't y'all figured that out?
Yeah.
Gosh darn, he played in that AAC championship game 4 years ago. Figure it out. When have y'all even put into the NCAA to see if you can get another year? I feel like that would be information you'd like to have. Is he going to walk on Saturday? It's senior day. Is Tommy walking? Is he going to come out and be introduced? I guess. But who knows what he'll say or if it matters. But yeah, so I think did Tatum Bethune walk in 22 and then came back and played? I feel like somebody did that.
Sounds right.
Recently. I think he got hurt yesterday, by the way, or on Sunday. Tatum Bethune did. Hope he's okay. Hope he came back and played. So that's a long convoluted. What do you mean that convoluted? Just a stammering, I don't know of an answer. What would you do?
At quarterback? So the premise is if you bring one of these guys back.
If you bring they both, well, I mean, if you're nobody, Malzahn's not coming back if Norvell's not here.
Right. No, man, because I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy. But then I think about like Cade Klubnik wasn't healthy, and Cade Klubnik was getting battered around too, man. I don't know. It's just
Klubnik's better than Tommy. He's a better quarterback.
I know, but his injury is like more fresh, right? Like he got hurt against Boston College 3 weeks ago. Tommy got hurt 6 weeks ago against Kent State or whatever it was.
Right.
So it's just the fact that when he does get like he's a sports car. I mean, he's a Lamborghini. He's not a muscle car. Like if you get a ding on the fender, that sucks on your 68 Mustang, but like it's still going to be powerful. But if your Lamborghini gets a ding, it's like, oh, well, there goes some of the aerodynamic qualities of it, and now does not look good anymore. It's this elegant, sleek vehicle. It's marred. This sucks. We got to pay $50,000 to get a dent fixed. It just feels like he's got the margin for error is too narrow with Tommy as your starting quarterback and trying to get through an entire 15, 16 game schedule if you're trying to go to the playoffs and win a national title. So,
and I would say this, man, like the more I think about it, I don't know why you would bring him back. And the reason I say that is because you're playing at Clemson. And Tommy had some nice runs, a couple of first down runs, one on fourth down, which was 25 yards. And on before he fumbled, I mean, he has a 24-yard run on third down and just runs straight out of bounds.
And he had some blocking too. I think like LaShawn McCoy was down there, Deuce was down there.
I know, and it was. Yeah. You've got to score right there, man. And the kid that played August 30th would have tried to score. The kid that's playing in November did not try to score. And I feel like that was kind of what happened his freshman year at Boston College too, where when he played Florida State, second game of the year, he wasn't running out of bounds. He was running all over the place. Middle of the season, a lot of wear and tear. It's like, oh man, let me just. What's an extra 8 yards? What's an extra 5 yards? I think that's just when you're as small as he is, and I mean he's put together. He's just not a big kid. And you take a beating, it gets hard to cut back. But if he's not going to be the guy that cuts back, and there was a play later on in the game on 3rd and 3 where he's escaping the pocket. And he just literally he could have dove for the first down. He could have gotten around the edge and probably gotten 5 or 6 yards and went straight out of bounds for no gain. With Peter Woods chasing him, I think, or one of their big fat defensive linemen, and he just ran out of bounds. It's like, well, if that's the Tommy you're going to get for a majority of the season, you don't need that Tommy because he's not good enough at the other stuff. And I do like what Norvell said about his personality, his leadership, how hard he plays, how much he battles. All that's well and good, and I don't dispute it or dismiss it. But if you've got to win big next year, man. If you're back, if this thing is being run back, you've got to win big next year. And I just don't think Tommy Castellanos, to me, is a stopgap quarterback. He got you to respectability. He beat Alabama. It was wonderful. He's made some big plays. He's made some big time plays. But he's not a big time quarterback. He's not going to make the special throws. And quite frankly, over the last 6 weeks, the special runs, other than the flip-de-doo against Stanford, that are going to win you games. And he didn't win that game. So it didn't matter. So long answer again. I would think you got to go get somebody experienced, in my opinion. Either get Sperry in there now to see what you got out of that kid. I would not go into next season thinking that Kevin Sperry is going to be the starter. Not if your job is on the line. And in this hypothetical, everybody's job is on the line. And every quarterback in the country is a free agent. Go get someone, even if Gus is still here, go get someone that maybe not quite as good a runner, but what does that mean anymore, Aslan? Like, has Tommy been a great runner since the Alabama game?
Not particularly.
Like, really?
Not in conference
has he been
play.
anything special? No. Yeah. He was special against Alabama, man. And I'm not talking about he ran for 200 yards. I'm talking about 3rd and 5, he got you 7. Yeah. 3rd and 3, he got you 5. He was really good, and he kept the ball when he needed to keep the ball. As the season goes on, he regresses because I think he just gets banged up, which is understandable, but that's not what you need. So if he's not going to be a special runner, go get somebody that's a better thrower. You also might be able to attract some receivers.
Maybe that's why Bill O'Brien was trying to keep him in the pocket so that he'd be able to preserve himself. But also...
Well, that was dumb.
On a more serious note, though, when he was asked about, I think Ira asked him, kind of, listen, you're focused on winning every single game, but like, do you think about playing some of these younger quarterbacks? I didn't like that answer either all that much. I mean, not to pile on Mike, but you talk about we've had. Kevin's been in games earlier in the season, so is Brock. Like inconsequential to what we're trying to get to here, Mike. Like them playing against Kent State and East Texas A&M has nothing to do with. So that was enough assessment.
Here's what he can't say, though. Here's what he can't say. And I'm speaking for Mike Norvell here, and I have no idea if this is his real thoughts, but I'll go ahead and assume. Brock Glenden's not playing here. He's not good enough. So what would be the point of giving him reps in these next 3 games? He's gotten enough reps. He got reps against Wake Forest and fumbled immediately. Again, maybe not his fault, fine, whatever. Brock Glenden's had plenty of chances to prove himself, not just in the games, but in the practice over the last 36 months. Clearly, the head coach doesn't think he's good enough. Clearly. So he's not an option. Kevin Sperry is an option, but Kevin Sperry, if he plays another game, he burns a red shirt. And he did play the Stanford game.
He did.
So he got a few. So those reps did matter, I think. And I'm talking about the reps against Stanford and also those earlier reps and what he's doing in practice. But again, man, to what end would Mike Norvell play Kevin Sperry in these next 3 games if Mike Norvell, as we all believe, thinks he's coaching for his life, his livelihood, his job?
He's so confident he's coming back. What's the hurt in doing it?
Man, he's not. Come on now, he's not confident he's coming back. He's saying those things, but he's not confident. But the only way he comes back is if he wins more games. And I am not of the opinion, and I definitely think Malzahn and Norvell are not of the opinion that Kevin Sperry, right now, true freshman, gives them a better chance to win games. Do we think Kevin Sperry was going to be in Death Valley lighting up that team?
Right.
No. So, and you're going to play him on the road against NC State? Jordan Travis couldn't even beat NC State on the road. True freshman Kevin Sperry is? So, no, I just think he'll play if he needs to, but they're going to ride it out with Tommy and try to get themselves to 7 wins and, see if that's enough.
Man, we went like 35 minutes maybe or so of uninterrupted show. That's how we roll here on Wake Up Warchant. But we do like to pause every now and then and talk about places that we really believe in. Like the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, which will be host of our final meet and greet of the season, 5 p.m. Friday. Come on out to 2475 Appalachia Parkway and join in on the fun. If you don't want to wait for delicious food and friendly faces, go to Corner Pocket later tonight, 7 p.m. Trivia. Get involved. Win. Compete. Frolic. It's always a good time at the CP. Happy hour weekdays, 4 to 7 p.m., and then all day Sunday. Typically live music on the weekends. Ice cold drinks. Again, lunch specials as well. So it's affordable. It's entertaining. It's always a good time. It's the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. CPTallybar.com, the website.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Why would you wander around a warehouse store looking for paint when you could just swing by your neighborhood Ace? In addition to Ace's award-winning service, we have top-rated paint brands. Plus, our color matching technology allows us to match any color. So stop wandering and start painting. Head to your neighborhood Ace today.
In Crawfordville, your home convenience store is Ace Home Center and NAPA Auto Parts, located at 2709 Crawfordville Highway. We were back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, warchantbogo, your promo code. Rewinding back several minutes ago, Corey, Fabian Lovett, Tatum Bethune, Dimitri Emmanuel. All 3 of those gentlemen participated in Senior Day 2022, and then were part of the 2023 team. So we do have precedence.
So I guess it won't really matter if Tommy walks or not. What a time in college athletics. You don't know if you're cheering some. I think Florida State basketball had a guy that I can't remember who it was that had 2 senior days too. So it's just the way of the world. But even if Tommy does walk on senior day, it doesn't mean he's not coming back. If he doesn't walk, and I say walk as if he's walking across the stage, honored. Yeah. They should do that. They should make it like a graduation ceremony, robes, the whole thing. Yeah. And then if he doesn't, that doesn't mean that he is coming back. It's all up in the air, everyone. And shout out to Tommy. Yeah. He does try hard, man. He does play hard. He's better than what you had on the roster. I know people want to see Kevin Sperry. Tommy Castellanos is better than Kevin Sperry right now, this moment. And he does try. He's just, he's got some limitations.
Speaking of Tommy, Island Chief, wake up. Last season seems to be coming into focus the further we move away from it. Player-led teams are subject to this without a strong, capable leadership within their ranks. When Tommy said he came here with a mission to save jobs, were we already headed in the wrong direction?
I mean, it wasn't a great thing to say. None of the stuff he said in that crazy interview was great. I mean, I guess he called a shot with Alabama, but it was just all. It was all bizarre, all bizarrely worded. I like the fact that he's so confident in himself. The one thing that bothered me, I hope that I said this at the time. I think I did. I didn't like him saying that because that shouldn't be on his mind. He's not here to save jobs. He's just here to try to score points and win football games, not save jobs. That's too much pressure. You don't need to put that kind of pressure on yourself. So yeah, I think it's just words though. I don't know that Tommy. I think Tommy was just on a roll and was just like, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. Remember that Jalen Ramsey interview a few years ago where he just went off on all the receivers in the league?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's no good. He's trash. Yeah. He can't get open. DeAndre Hopkins is the truth though. He's really tough. But it was bizarre. It was just. I think Tommy just got caught up in what he was saying. And
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, just too much. But I don't think that's been I hope that hasn't been weighing on him. And if it has, he hasn't done well with it. So, it wasn't a great sign, but I don't think it was I don't think that meant it was derailing anything. I just think, man, don't turn the ball over against Virginia. Throw the screen pass to Gavin Sawchuk, and you win in overtime. But, I don't know how much of that was game. Was it Sawchuk that fumbled?
Yeah, I don't really know how much of that was his why. By the way, really, like I don't really think. Yeah, it sounded good in his head, so I think he said it. And I don't know if Gavin Sawchuk fumbled against Virginia. I don't remember who did. I know somebody
did. I think it was
somebody
him.
Definitely fumbled.
First or second drive of the game, I think he fumbled.
Yeah. There's another Tommy thing I had on my mind. Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts on this? I know it's tough for old men to talk about this stuff when it comes to the youths. But apparently there was some stuff on social that showed Tommy out gallivanting on a Thursday night before getting on the road Friday to the game. It's part of being a college student athlete at Florida State is being able to enjoy some of the perks of going out and having a good time. But, but some people then say, well, listen, like you're getting paid handsomely now. Team struggling. I don't know. I mean, does Randy Pittman catch the pass if Tommy sits in his dorm room or his apartment a little bit longer on Thursday night and is not spotted outside? I don't know. I remember seeing guys in my time out at the bar like on a Friday night, which is crazy. Was it a Friday night season? Because they usually would stay in Thomasville on a Friday night. But I remember
they'd be out of town.
Maybe it was after the season was over. Like, yeah, I saw student athletes out all the time. Didn't bother me all that much then. But I guess it's just one of those things where when you're losing, like everything is just fair game to point and snicker and get angry at.
No, that doesn't bother me at all. The college kids are going to be college kids. Maybe I shouldn't say he's a kid. He's 22 or whatever. But man, he's young. He's a young people, man. What is he supposed to be, a monk or just stay in? What's appealing about that? Part of the appeal of playing at Florida State is being a Florida State football player on the other 6 days of the week. It's pretty fun, pretty good life, especially if you're good, especially if you're the starting quarterback. I don't think Jordan Travis was just holed up as an apartment. While he was here for those 5 years. It's part of being a college football player. So no, I have no issue with that. I have an issue with it if it was like the Friday night before a noon game or something. Obviously, you've got to be smart about it. But on a Thursday night, these kids have it tough enough. He was probably pulling an all-nighter because they had to practice so early in the morning. He's like, oh, I got to get up at 4 a.m. anyway, so why not just be out now? Like that would be my only concern is the sleep. You don't be crazy when your head coach makes you get up at 6:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning. Don't be out till 3 just because of your sleep pattern. But other than that, the only thing Tommy's done that's bothered me on social media, even more so than the interview we gave over the summer, because that really didn't bother me much at all.
It did not.
I think it was after the Pitt game. It might have been the Sunday morning after the Pitt game, or maybe the Saturday night after the Pitt game. He just started retweeting all these highlights that he had from the game. Like ACC Network would tweet, look at this dime from Tommy Castellanos, and he just retweeted that with no words. But I think he did that like 3 or 4 times, like 2 or 3 different plays from, I want to say it was the Pitt game, because he did make some good throws. Yeah, it was like the Landon Thomas throw. It was the throw to Danzy, maybe a throw to Deuce. And he felt the need to retweet that after a loss as if, what was the purpose behind that? What would be the purpose of like going and finding your highlights and then like what, letting all your followers and all the FSU fans know that you had some good plays in a game you lost? Like quit telling me I suck or something?
Wasn't me. Don't blame me for this one. Wasn't my fault.
Yeah, that's the only time. In my opinion, I guess I'm not around the team, during the week or anything, but that was the biggest misstep I saw from him. From a leadership standpoint, it's like, man, don't start retweeting your highlights after a loss. You shouldn't do it after a win either, but especially after a loss. What are you trying to prove there? What is your point there? You guys you were horrible in the second half of that game. I know you didn't have any receivers to throw to, but y'all were horrible. Don't try to remind Florida State fans how good you are when you just lost another game.
All the rules are out the window today with Corey winning, generating discussion. We're gonna tie this comment from YouTube into the questions from our subscribers over at warchant.com. I'm going to have to talk for about a minute here, Corey, so bear with me. But we had a comment on the Warchant rap presented by Cummins from somebody that I don't know their name. But anyhow, I am a Gamecock fan and was really disappointed that FSU didn't beat that orange blank. Can't stand Clemsuck, but reading these comments just makes me puke. So many FSU fans moaning and groaning. Please, try being a Gamecock fan. At least FSU has won national championships and multiple conference championships. We've also won multiple national championships. Anyhow, Gamecock fans would give an arm and a leg for FSU's history. So with that, the backdrop to these next 2 questions, I'm going to kind of combine real quickly, Corey. Greenville, very simple question, he says this week. What makes you believe that we can ever return to competitive football? Not since 2013 has 2013 has FSU been strong enough to compete with the 2 power conferences. Random_John, are we sure FSU is a tier 1 job? Last 2 coaches, Willie Taggart, Mike Norvell, 1 great, 1 good season, 4 losing seasons in 7, 46 and 44 combined. If tier 1 job means refusing mediocrity, recruiting in the top 10 and developing elite talent, are we still there? Because tier 1 programs don't spend 7 years explaining why they're not winning. Curious to hear your take.
I would say this, and again, I know it's a different age. Go look up Alabama from 1994 to 2006. Were they just destined for mediocrity? Was that just their lot in life? I can't imagine. There weren't really message boards back then. There certainly wasn't social media. What were those fans saying in the parking lot for the DeBose years, in the Shula years, in the whoever else years?
Price.
Like,
well, he never coached a game.
Come on, man. And then Alabama became Alabama. Why? They hired a great coach, and who got those resources and fully functioning. Come on, I love the South Carolina perspective because Florida State fans don't appreciate, a lot of them. I shouldn't say, and I shouldn't even say the majority, but there are a lot of Florida State fans that think this, that like, is Florida State ever going to be competitive again? Man, I'm not convinced they wouldn't have beaten Michigan in the semifinal even with Tate Rodemaker. And I'm absolutely, the farther away we get from that 2023 season, if Jordan Travis doesn't get hurt, I think they're the best team in the country. Look at Tatum Bethune, Renardo Green, Jarian Jones had a pick on Sunday, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Keon Coleman. You had 10 guys on that team that are starting in the NFL. Starting in the NFL. And one of them is not your quarterback, who was the best player on the team. That was 2 years ago, gang. This is not your lot in life. Yeah, it's not your lot in life. It's a bad stretch.
2004, a fired Ron Zook walks into my last home game as a student and beats Florida State. I'm like, we're never going to get out of this. 2007, I'm all in because they hired Jimbo. I go to Clemson for the opener, lose that game. I'm like, we just suck. This is what we're going to be like. 2011, when they had that 3-game losing streak, I'm like, all right, man, I'm never going to see Florida State win another national title. I was too young to really, truly, truly appreciate and live and die with every single snap. That's just the way it is. And then 2 years later, they won a national title. So I get, feeling the dread, but also, man, let's look around.
I guess I would ask those.
Let's look around Indiana. Look at Indiana right now. Indiana's got the Heisman front runner. They're a lock for the playoff. Texas A&M went to their second or third option to replace Jimbo Fisher after they had to pay a boatload to get him the hell out of there. We've got better resources. I shouldn't say resources, but we have a better track record. I think we have a better product. We have a better brand than those two universities. I get feeling down, and you talk about the last 7 years have been the way they have. But listen, man, I know it ended poorly with Jimbo, but that was a good stretch. That was a good stretch from 2010 to 2017 mostly. You can get somebody else that can kind of replicate that, I would think. So it's not the end of the world, everybody.
And I would say to those people that wonder about Florida State, are you wondering the same thing about Florida?
That's why they've been
less relevant.
I think that's the worry. I think, Corey. You see Miami, you see Florida. You're like, oh no, are we turning into them?
But look at Miami and Florida. Miami they're still technically in the playoff hunt. But so they were destined for mediocrity forever until the new era came upon us. I do believe that they were just never going to catch up with facilities, and they had lost all their luster. Well, now they're 5 plays away from being back-to-back playoff teams with a bunch of different players. And Mario Cristobal is not a great coach, but he's got them in the playoff hunt at least the last 2 years. Florida, we think Florida has some resources, right? They got some dudes that can play in this state, and they've been non-existent for essentially 15 years. Are we worried that they'll never be relevant again? This isn't Nebraska, gang. This just isn't. Nebraska has a hard time because they're in the middle of Nebraska. You're in Florida. You're in the South. You're a power in the South. And you just can't let a couple of bad seasons define what your program is, man, because that's not how this works. Florida State is a blue blood through and through. Blue bloods have bad stretches. Trust me, I grew up in Georgia. I lived in Georgia most of my adult life. That team from 1984 to 2017 was essentially irrelevant on a national stage. We're talking about, 33 years. For Florida State, they've been irrelevant for 2. I know they had bad years before that. They were a playoff team 2 years ago with a guy that none of y'all think can coach. So imagine and I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. Now imagine getting somebody in here that can build a program from within, from the high school ranks, that can load this roster with money. Why in the world would we think that Florida State's not in position to be really good again really quickly? It's not just your lot in life. You are not South Carolina. You will never be South Carolina. You're Florida State. Thanks to Robert Kleckler Bowden, Florida State is Florida State. You have a really cool stadium, you have a brand new football facility, and you have all the talent you need right here in this home state. You need to either get this guy to figure out how to recruit it or go bring in somebody that will. But you are not destined for this. This is not your lot in life. You will be good again. I said it when Willie was here. I said it when you lost to Jacksonville State. And then there was a 19-game winning streak. Jimbo, who clearly isn't a great coach either. He had some great moments, but he is not a great coach either. He just got fired at Texas A&M. He had a 29-game winning streak here. You had 3 different coaches in the last quarter century go 13-0. 3 different ones. Only one of them was a Hall of Famer. This is not an impossible place to win, and this is a team that if Indiana and Georgia Tech and Virginia can all be in the race in the middle of November, and Louisville, then by God, Florida State can too. And I think Florida State's the second best job on the market right now. I think LSU, you could make that argument, it's the best job. I think Florida State is the second best one available, maybe tied with Florida. But Florida doesn't have anything. Florida's been a much more tumultuous the last 15 years than Florida State has. And I don't think any of us think Florida is just destined for mediocrity. If they hire a good coach again, they'll be good again. None of us want it, but that's the reality. The exact same reality exists in Tallahassee. I promise. I promise. Just like Mike Norvell's promising. Buddy, did y'all not hear the beginning of the show? Mike Norvell's going to be hoisting championships here soon. He could be hoisting trophies. He knows what it looks like. Right, Aslan? You just got to believe in him.
That's right.
Who's with me? Who's with me? Let's go, gang.
We're going to believe in Corey bouncing back over at Underdog Fantasy Sports. Download the app today and sign with promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. All right, let's do our Tuesday trio. Let's go from the national perspective, Corey.
Oh, boy. All right.
Jeremiah Love and Notre Dame heading to Pitt, noon game, game day in the Steel City, 97.5 rushing yards. Higher or lower, Jeremiah Love?
Don't they have another really good running back?
I think so.
I'm going to say lower.
Okay. Fernando Mendoza in Indiana, hosting Wisconsin, also at noon, 240.5 passing yards.
How about Wisconsin?
Yeah.
They give their coach the vote of confidence, and they go and have their best win of the year by far. What are you waiting on, Alford? Free this guy up to coach. Tell him he's coming back next year. I will say they're trying to chase a Heisman, man, and he didn't get there. He did have a Heisman moment, though. Yeah. I'll say higher on that one.
Okay. Let's go to the state of Georgia. You want Gunnar Stockton or Haynes King?
Let's do Haynes King. Who are they playing?
Haynes King, Georgia Tech at BC. Maybe the worst team in the ACC. Yeah. 239.5 passing yards, higher or lower? I don't even know why I said that.
Lower.
Higher.
Yeah.
Are you really?
Lower. I don't think they're going to have to throw that much.
Okay. All right. There you go. So
I don't think they're going to have to throw that much.
All right. That's a 6-1 payout. Corey, you've got some powder too. We're going to keep going through all mine, but I'm going to put 10 on it because I trust Corey. 6-1 payout. Again, download the app.
Didn't I just go 0 for 5? I just went 0 for 5. Don't put that on me. But bet the opposite.
Download the app today, Underdog Fantasy Sports, and sign up with that promo code WARCHANT to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code WARCHANT. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Underdog Fantasy Sports must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and older in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Warchant BOGO, your promo code. This will be the last one of the day. We'll follow and circle back towards the end of the week and get the rest of these in. Gator Kirk. I asked this, Corey, because I think it kind of goes back to what we started off at. Wake Up. What are the advantages and disadvantages of waiting until the end of the season to hire a new coach? So again, like listening to the way that Mike talked about the supreme confidence that he has, is it
elite confidence.
Yeah. Like, does he have assurances? Does he not have assurances? Advantages. I don't know how many disadvantages there really are to holding on to Mike other than like making everybody pissed off. But if you ultimately get rid of him, everybody will be back on board and happy and try to donate as much as they can. So angering people here in the short term, I think, is quickly forgotten. So I don't think that's really much of a disadvantage. The advantage, again, listening to some of the stuff that, Jeff was talking about on his program on Monday, you still do kind of have to worry about recruiting, right? And I know maybe it's hard for a recruit to believe in Mike Norvell, not only his message, but will he be your head coach? But maybe you try to keep these kids on the hook just long enough to when you can do the switcheroo, and it's like, all right, just give us like 48 hours. We're going to announce everything, and you'll be. I feel like maybe that gives you a better way of preserving things than if you kind of blow it up right now. Because then you're leaving your assistant coaches, which are not going to probably be here by and large next year, to keep things, intact. And that's probably not a good strategy either. But are there any advantages, disadvantages you think that has resulted in Mike Galal for not making a vote of confidence or a firing thus far?
I think one doesn't really outweigh the other. I think the disadvantage I would see, and it's really the only one I can think of, honestly, is I'm only using it because it's such a rare occurrence where there's somebody like James Franklin out there who is appealing to me and as a candidate who isn't in another job already. He's out there just floating, a free agent. If you're behind the scenes telling him, hey, as soon as that game in Gainesville is over, we're going to make the change and we're going to announce that we want you to be the next head coach. If you're doing that behind the scenes, then yeah, there's no advantage or disadvantage there. The problem is if you're telling somebody like James Franklin, we got to see if this guy wins these next few games. If he wins these next few games, we're probably going to keep him. If he gets to 7 or 8 wins this season, we're probably going to run it back. And so we can't make an announcement. You can't string somebody like that along. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not saying that's what's happening. I doubt that's happening. But that's the disadvantage to waiting, is maybe one of these candidates feels like they're being strung along. Because they can't, I just don't think you could give anybody an assurance right now, 3 weeks before the season's over, that they're going to be the next head coach at Florida State. While you still have a head coach at Florida State, the job's not open. So nobody has, I don't think, has actual assurances that the job is theirs if they want it.
But you
I
don't
think
think
it's been
that's
offered to anyone.
You don't think it's a disadvantage either, though?
No, because it would be for James Franklin. Would it be for Brian Hartline? Like, what's his next best option? Yeah. And again, I have no idea if they even care about Brian Hartline. I'm just using him as an example. Offensive coordinator, Ohio State, the Ohio State. If you're interested in him, what's he going to say? Oh, no, man, you should have offered this to me 2 weeks ago when we were playing Purdue. I feel disrespected. No, he's going to jump at the chance to coach at Florida State. To be a head coach at Florida State is your first head coaching job? Come on, man. What's he waiting on that's better? Michigan? I don't think there's a disadvantage there. I think the only disadvantage to me would come from, maybe Florida's out ahead of you and they can already offer the job to someone and you don't feel right doing it because Norvell's the coach. But if you're handling everything you need to handle behind the scenes, everybody knows what the deal is. As long as they know, as long as someone like Brian Hartline, or let's say, I was going to use Dan Mullen. Let's use Brian Hartline. If Florida's interested in him too, and again, this is all just dumb speculation. I'm just using him. I might as well say Joe Smith or Irish O'Fell. I'm just throwing a name out there. If Florida's interested in him too, and they've offered him the job, and he comes back to Florida State, it's like, look, Florida just offered me the job. You could say, well, we're going to offer you the job too. We just can't do it till the end of the season. That might be a disadvantage because he doesn't know if you're serious.
Yeah.
But do we think that is really happening? I think the people they're interested in that are also interested in Florida State, they're not going to let the timing dictate what could be the best move of their life because it didn't happen in early November. It happened in late November.
But don't you want that year? I mean, I don't want to say we learn from our mistakes, but you're going to have to recruit really well here, and you're already going to be behind the eight ball.
Right, but how does it work with? But I guess what I'm asking, say it is Brian Hartline again. Is he leaving Ohio State in the middle of a national championship run?
No, but you have a name, you have a face. He's making phone calls on your behalf. Like he's double dipping. He's doing the Mark Richt.
I don't think that Ohio State would let him do it. Because they might have 6 games left.
Well, then we'll tell him to leave, and then he's down, boots on the ground in Tallahassee. If they tell him to walk, if they do what Nick did to Lane Kiffin, where it's like, listen, just go to FAU. Don't wait for the season to end.
But that was for one game. That wasn't for a whole playoff run. This whole thing's going to be unique, man. This didn't really happen last year. There are teams that could make deep playoff runs. Like we're talking into January, where they're going to be, those coordinators might be head coaches. And are they going to do double duty for 5 weeks? That seems like a lot. Not just one game, not a bowl game, but for multiple games, like 4 or 5 games. That just seems like a lot.
I think Florida State's in the mix for a bunch of these guys. That's what the money is for.
Well, right, but I mean, it's not advantageous to have a coach that's having to devise a game plan to try to beat Texas. At the same time, he's trying to get himself a quarterback. Like, it's not ideal. So, but that's the world we live in right now, right? Like in the NFL, they don't do this. I don't think. There'd be no need. They just wait until the season's over to go get the OC from the Chiefs or the defensive coordinator from the Chargers or something. But time is of the essence in college football. I'm saying I don't know that you want Will Stein would be coming here tomorrow if you offered him the job. I still think he might want to ride it out at least until the end of the season, at least until the end of the regular season, maybe longer than that. And that's why I'm saying I don't know if there's an advantage or disadvantage to it. To somebody like that who's on one of these staffs of these really good teams, for a James Franklin, I can see where it might be a little off-putting for him to be like, why do I got to wait around, man? I'm sitting here twiddling my thumbs. Let's get this thing going. I'm not coaching Penn State anymore. Let me get on board. And that's where it could be the disadvantage. But he's like the only one. I guess Jimbo, if you're in that camp too, he's not doing anything either. You could get him on the ground running. One of those guys. Other than that, I mean, does LSU have a coach yet?
Right.
Does Florida?
Right.
Does UCLA?
Right.
Like UCLA did. Does Virginia Tech? Like Virginia Tech, all those were fired in September. They haven't, as far as I know, they don't have a coach yet either.
Man, I wish we could give you back all these weeks that we've talked about this uncertainty once we're hoisting that trophy in Pasadena or Miami or Dallas or wherever. But we appreciate you all tuning in. Seminole headlines coming your way 1 to 3 o'clock. We'll have coach interviews, assistant coach interviews, and players before that in the morning. So check out warchant.com for that as well. Also, the Monday Smash replay. Go give that a listen with Tom Lang and Irish Hofel. Always a good listen. He's Corey Maslon. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, Warchant BOGO. Your promo code, buy one, get one free.